All right, guys, we're back again. Homeowner called us saying they had a washing machine delivered and the company couldn't shut off the water. So we told them we'll be there in a couple minutes. And once we got there, we shut the water off to the house and we started replacing these valves. You can see they're all corroded and they're shot to shit. So we're going to take these ball valves out and we're going to put a nice Watts dual shutoff valve. Yeah, I could have done two ball valves same way, but I like the dual shutoff better. It's easier to replace it down the future also, and it's easier on the homeowner. Only one valve to shut off, shuts both at the same time. So as you can see here, I'm going to start cutting everything out. Clean that copper. Why? Because I do solder, don't do pro press. So pro press lever, sorry guys, today's torch only. Little trick I got here, crimp the copper so it can hold the fitting in place while I solder and it's not drooping all over the place. And again, pull out that level, make sure everything's nice and plumb. So torch it is, nothing around here, so I don't have to use the heat shield, the burn cloth that I usually use, nice and clean. Once everything's all done, wipe it up, put the valve. So I do temporarily screw it in there so I can line everything up. Again, there's a lot of moving components here and everything has to be nice and level because if not, it's going to look like shit. So once I see what I'm going to do here, line everything up, see what I got to do, and I got to start working on the hot side. So I cut the hot side out, I measure the pipe that I need, and I got to start soldering a little piece onto the elbow, and boom. And third hand helper right here, enough to hold the piece of copper that I'm soldering. It's just almost like having a helper here. Instead of burning him, I'll burn the plywood. Yeah, right, never burn the wood. So guys, nice and steady. Watch where your flame is going. Not too hot. You don't have to heat up the pipe cherry red. Just nice. Move it around. And just make sure that solder's flowing nice and easy. Once the solder's flowing nice and easy, take the heat off if you need to. Just, take your time. Yes, Pro Press is faster. But in my case, I think soldering looks nicer if it looks good. Some guys just solder, drips all over the place, and it looks like shit. Just use a Pro Press better. Some guys also like wiping the joints. I don't. I like just finishing soldering. If it looks good, leave it alone. Do not wipe it. So that's just, my preference. Everybody does everything differently. So once that's all done, I'm waiting to cool. Once it cools down, I'll start putting everything together. Now I got to figure out a way what I'm going to do to strap the new valve on. As you can notice, the valve is a little higher than the plywood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the plywood short, and then I'll use a little piece of the same plywood because it's the same thickness, and I'll flip it vertically so it could be a little longer piece, and I'll be able to strap it, the new valve, at the proper height with everything level. So again, I got to mock everything up, make sure everything's level. I level everything 2, 3, 4 times. Just double check everything because at the end product, if something's crooked, it's going to look like shit. So I put new straps on the copper line because it was crooked. And now I'm doing the hot side. Once I level everything up, make sure the valve's level, tighten up the screws temporarily. As you can see, there's a lot of moving components. So it takes a while to level everything up. Once it's level, mark the pipe, and I cut the hot side. Again, cut it, clean it, make sure, that's the first thing I tell you guys. If you're going to solder, make sure everything's spotless. All right, once everything's spotless, put everything together and make sure all the fittings are in. On this one, I wasn't sure if it was in, so I took it apart to make sure that it was in, and it was. So again, I screw in the temporary screw, and we're ready to solder. This one's a little closer to the concrete foundation and the plywood, but I'm confident in my skills that I'm not going to burn anything. And I turn on that torch and we start soldering. Again, take your time, feel it out, don't burn it, don't burn the wall, and don't burn the copper. Don't turn it cherry red, just enough. All right, so once you're all done, I do take longer, obviously, but I know my product is going to be good at the end, and I'm going to be happy, and I won't be able to sleep at night. So take your time, make sure that solder flows real good, and make sure you see it sucking into the fitting. Make sure you don't have extra solder hanging on the bottom. And I like at the end when I finish soldering, put some flux to clean the joint out, and then wipe it up with the rag, and it's going to look nice and spotless. Another trick I do is I wipe all my joints down with WD-40. That way I remove any flux residue and I don't even on the pipe. Look at that. Nice clean joint. Let me know in the comments below how you like the solder joints, or if you like to pro press. Which one looks better in yours? In your opinion, in my opinion, solder's the way to go. So here we go. As you can see, the plywood I cut, nice strip of the same wood. I repurposed it so it could look the same, and we screwed the valve in. So customer's happy, new washing machine. If you live in North Jersey, need some plumbing work done, give us a call. See you on the next one. See ya.